What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my Ultimate Divine Codes 3 guide. I'll be having a really in-depth analysis of each path and I'll be rating each manual and also giving you sample builds as we go along, and by the end of this video you'll be having a much better idea of where you want to spend your divine codes and how you want to use them. I've spent countless hours trying to make this video as easily digestible as I can with all of the useful info, so it would mean a lot to me if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're new because I make many more FEH videos like these. So my evaluation criteria is quite straightforward. It depends on these 4 factors. Let's begin with the 3 houses path, and we have got Summer Caspar at 400 codes. So he provides you with Victor Fish Plus and also bonus doubler. Bonus doubler is kind of a niche skill, but it can be really strong in certain strategies and on certain units. Legendary Marth is easily one of the best users of it because bonus doubler actually stacks up with the bonus doubler present in his weapon. And if you run him with Legendary Eliwood, then he can essentially have triple bonus doubler. And now we do have some null panic effects going on with Ashera and also Legendary Azura's Grey Waves too. So it definitely provides you a safety net against the panic effects, but panic is always going to be an annoyance for this kind of playstyle. And of course, lull skills and dull lull skills are a big threat to bonus doubler. So you have to depend a lot on the visible buffs to make this skill work out. There are definitely other consistent options most of the time on other units, but definitely not a bad skill to have at 400 codes. Victor Fish Plus is a decent inheritable axe, but there are just so many other inheritable axes that are so good, like Unbound Axe, Plagian Axe, Springy Axe, Rain Axe, that you're not going to be seeing Victor Fish that much. Winter Bernadetta is the second unit on this path, and she provides you with attack speed solo 4 and lull speed resistance. I feel like eventually Rau's attack speed is going to be ending up in the Grail pool, as we are seeing some Rau skills on the free-to-play units. I also have a prerequisite section here so that you can know which skills you want to get first and from which units if you want to inherit multiple skills at the same time from these manuals, because that is definitely optimal. Attack speed solo 4 has very marginal difference from the version 3, and it's mostly going to be used for the yellow border and for having the max skill available, just for the flexing. Lull speed resistance is functionally going to be a lot more useful here, and it can be run on fast infantry and cavalry mages. So if they have a one-shot playstyle, then having lull speed resistance can definitely help them, but a lot of infantry mages also can run null follow-up to make use of their speed productively, and also if they have the bulk to survive the hits. Petrina is also another free-to-play unit, even though she's not a mage, can make really good use of the skill because of her magical lance. The third unit in the path, Fallen Dimitri, provides you with Odd Tempest and attack speed solo 4. So Tempest skills are kind of a niche skill, and they're mostly going to be useful in the competitive game modes like Aether Raid's offense, defense, and summoner duels. In Aether Raid's offense, for example, you many times want to initiate combat on turn 3 where you have the Bold Tower. You have already seen Odd Tempest Ceros probably many times in Aether Raid's defense, and in summoner duels, on turn 1 you can definitely pressurize your opponent by advancing further with the Odd Tempest skills. But still, many times units can run the other skills which are a lot more consistent, and it is only inheritable by infantry units and flyers. And flyers most of the time do prefer to have the rain skill, which is going to be consistent and always active. We also have Halloween Rhea providing you insane value as the 4th unit in this path with attack resistance unity and Dragon Wall. So this is a really good manual for any kind of dragon enthusiast, because Dragon Wall provides you with the damage reduction on your dragon units, and keep in mind that it does consider the in-combat resistance, so it's really easy to stack up a lot of resistance on these kinds of dragons, because on average in FEH, units that you're going to be facing are going to be having lower resistance than a lot of your dragons, so it definitely provides you good value with that damage reduction. And attack resistance unity is also a really good skill that is active in both phases, and it does have really easy condition to meet. So it can be used on save armors and slow mages who want to stay near their allies, and this can also be really helpful in Aether Raid's offense, where you're going to be facing a lot of debuffs from shrine structures, shield skills, and stuff like that. So having that protection against the debuffs is the main selling point of the unity skill. It's definitely a really good skill on so many save armors and mage tanks. And then we end off this path with Gatekeeper. Now 8 out of 10 might seem like I'm undervaluing Close Reversal, but let me explain why I think that. So in 2022, it's all about specialization with your units. Range units want to run stand skills or unity skills to get the extra effect, And for the melee matchups, they can always use the save armors, like you can cover up your mage with a near save armor unit so that the near save armor unit just takes on the melee matchups while your mage focuses on the range matchups. So a lot of times giving up your slotty skill and effects like the guard effect from a stand skill is not going to be worth it for a lot of matchups for close reversal. Close reversal is pretty much a straight upgrade of close counter, giving you extra defense as well. But there are not too many range units who can afford to do that and actually have the bulk to take on some of the melee monsters present in the game right now who hit extremely hard. So Julius, for example, might not seem like he has got a lot of defense, but keep in mind he can get a lot of attack debuffs with this build, and he also has damage reduction of Dragon Wall in his weapon. Cliff is also one of those units who can function as a duelist with this kind of build, but I would say that most units do not prefer having close reversal at this point in the game, and they usually do not have enough bulk to utilize that. Having said that, if you want to make your range unit into an all-rounder and take on the melee threats, or if your range unit has got enough bulk, then close reversal can definitely be run, and you can also get Harsh Command Plus and Joint Drive Defense at the same time. Not only that, Brave Gatekeeper is actually the first Brave unit present in any kind of Divine Code section, so he can also be useful for the merges if you really like Gatekeeper and if you're trying to finish your merge project. So Three Houses path overall just has some niche skills like Bonus Doubler, Odd Tempest, Close Reversal, and this path can also be useful for getting the merges on your fan favorites like Winter Burnie, Fallen Dimitri, Gatekeeper, and I'm definitely going to be trying to get merges for my Winter Bernadetta and Fallen Dimitri. That said, it is still a really useful path for dragon enthusiasts who want to get the Dragon Wall, and like I explained before, Attack Resistance Unity is a very versatile and extremely good skill on so many tanky builds. We now move on to the Awakening and Fates path, and the opening unit here is going to be New York Kaden, providing you attack defense snag, which is not really that great of a skill because Slot B does have a lot of competition, and even if it does not, then still there are other skills that you can use for support like the Ruse skills or the Link skills compared to the Snag skills, and only Flyers and Cavalry units have access to this, so there are not a lot of units who would want to run this Snag skill over the other options. In the number 2 position in this path, we have Nyx providing you with Null Follow-Up and Speed Resistance Solo 4. So Speed Resistance Solo is not the greatest solo skill for this slot A, but still it can be useful if you're just trying to make a cheap budget Yenfei out of this Divine Codes path. And Null Follow-Up is extremely good this early on, so you're pretty much getting Null Follow-Up for 1200 Divine Codes in this path, which gives you really good value because Null Follow-Up is so useful in this metagame where units have auto follow-up attacks, they have follow-up negation effects, and it's just so amazing on so many builds, and in fact it is going to be the optimal slot B skill for so many units, so cannot stress it enough how good Null Follow-Up is this early on in the path. We also have Charlotte providing you with Sparrow 3, Time Pulse, and Frenzy as the 3rd unit. So Frenzy is a damage reduction skill like Close Call, Spurn, but it has got a different effect. It provides you with Desperation 2, so that's why it's a lot more player phase focused, but I would still say that Close Call and Spurn do have better advantages. Still, at the end of the day, it is a damage reduction skill that can definitely be used on units who are kind of squishy and they actually want to function in the player phase. Raven being an example of that with this kind of triple life and death build. If you're not trying to get Frenzy and Sparrow 3 at the same time, then you can definitely get Time Pulse and Sparrow 3 at the same time, which is going to be a really nice combo for any kind of player phase unit. And having Time Pulse with a lot of the slaying weapons, like for Young Innis for example, provides them with a pre-charge special, which they really love to have. The 4th unit in this path provides you with Attack Defense Menace, Dive Bomb, and Attack Defense Solo 4. So Dive Bomb is going to be a really good skill for many of the quad attacking units like Cordelia, Elencia for example, so that they can consecutively attack 4 times with this kind of Dive Bomb, which is an instant desperation. And Attack Defense Menace is going to be a lot more useful than Dive Bomb, I would say, because Attack Defense Menace has incredible synergy with so many skills like Cat skills, Plague and weapons. And it also provides you with 12-point stat differential between the attack and defense stat of you and your opponent. Attack Defense Menace is definitely a pretty versatile skill that can be used on many cavalry units and infantry units, and even some of the flying units, and it does have its usage in competitive game modes like Arena and Summoner Duels. The final unit in this path is going to be a really useful unit with the near save skill. So Halloween Male Grima provides you with Sturdy Stance 3, Slick Fighter, and Attack Resistance near save. I would say that this is not the best near save because dragons are often not going to be the biggest threat at melee, and usually attack defense near save is going to be the better near save skill, but still you're able to get this even as a free-to-play player from this path. You can definitely run this on one of the best near save units in the entire game in my opinion, and that is Arden. So he is just incredibly powerful with this skill, and Brave Edelgard is also a really popular unit that a lot of people plus and merge, and she functions really well as a near save unit. So these two are definitely going to be the option for many people, and you can actually get Sturdy Stance 3 at the same time along with the near save skill. Slick Fighter is also available, but the near save skill and Sturdy Stance is overall going to be better value. So near save skill in this path just ends this off beautifully, providing you with a high value skill. And overall Awakening and Fate's path has got really good value throughout with Null Follow-Up, Frenzy, Attack Defense Menace, and then finishing off with near save. Not to mention the early Null Follow-Up that you have is so useful on so many builds, and you don't necessarily have to finish the path. You can just get Null Follow-Up out of Nyx and then just do another path, so always keep that in mind. It does have good useful skills for infantries, flyers, and armors overall, so pretty nice and balanced Divine Code's path. The Tellius path starts off with Pirate Vika providing a sabotage attack, and this skill could be run on units who have got high visible resistance, and keep in mind that you can always run Fortress Defense Res or anything that can increase your visible resistance, and of course Phantom Resistance Sacred Seal to get more use out of the skill. Astrid as the second unit in this path provides you with Rally Attack Defense Plus and Attack Defense Ruse, and also Speed Defense Bond 4. I would say that this bond skill is not really all that good, and most of the time she's going to be used for the Rally and Ruse fodder, and this could be run on a support unit like Brave Lucina, who can provide you with a long range support and also double down with the support from her Weapon Refine. And Ruse skills are also really good in Arena because as it is, you're going to be running the Rally skills there for scoring, so providing that long range support can be really helpful on any kind of unit who has got a Rally skill, so you can get both of these skills at the same time. Winter Sephiran provides you with amazing value, giving you Tannin Baton Plus, Earth Water Bomb Plus, Attack Resistance Push 4, and also Odd Recovery. Odd Recovery has got an interesting lifespan where after its release it was a very meta-relevant skill in Aether Raid's defense for getting rid of the isolation and all of the penalties, and then came in the safe defense, and people can now just wait a turn and then just go off, so Odd Recovery can be handled that way. So Odd Recovery is not really as good as it once was, so that's why they're finally giving this in the Divine Code section. Still, it can be a really nice skill on any kind of healer, and you can actually get the other skills, and even if you just get Odd Recovery 1, you can still get rid of the penalties. You're just not going to be healing that much, so that could still be done. And you can always get Tannin Baton Plus, which is an incredibly good Drive Guard staff, which is amazing for support. So if you're not running the guard skills on your tanks, then you can simply have your healer provide this to them. And Tannin Baton Plus has got amazing use in Rooker's Siege, where you can just have a healer be within 2 spaces of your allies and just stop the Rooker from charging their special, and you can easily beat up that Rooker with your dancers and your allies. So definitely a really nice weapon. And you can also get Earth Water Bomb Plus and Attack Resistance Push 4 if you want to for your favorite healer. And then we move on to the god of Tellius Divine Code's path, Volke. So he provides Lethality, Sturdy Impact, Time Pulse, and Null Follow-Up. So you can get Lethality and Time Pulse at the same time on a dagger unit, and that is extremely powerful special, the most premium dagger special that you could get. And even if you're not trying to get Lethality, you can still get Sturdy Impact with Null Follow-Up or Sturdy Impact with Time Pulse. So regardless of whatever use you do of Volke, he's going to be providing you with amazing fodder. Lethality can of course be used on units like Yuri, and you can just pre-charge it with Raphael or Duocrom. And Kaze is also a noteworthy mention of Lethality, but outside of couple of dagger units, Lethality's high cooldown special is going to be annoying for most of the dagger units to reach, but still nonetheless it's a very powerful special. And Volke is an amazing option as the 4th manual in this path. We end off Tellius' path with Naesala, and he provides Attack Speed Solo 4, Speed Defense Near Trace, and Stall Ploy. Stall Ploy is really not that worth it, and there are better ways of having Stall with like Loki or Reeve. and he's mainly going to be used for speed defense Neotrace. Speed defense Neotrace is such an amazing skill for so many offensive cavaliers and flyers, and it is going to be an optimal slot B option for a lot of the builds. It also has amazing usage in the in-game content as well as for the competitive play. In Ether raids you can hit and run by using the Neotrace. In Summoner duels it is of course going to be amazing. It is essentially a Kanto land there. And then in Arena it does provide you with the extra movement utility, which is always appreciated. And a lot of those flyers and cavaliers don't have a lot of slot B options compared to the infantry units, so as it is, this is going to be an optimal choice for many of them. Overall, Tellius path basically has the supportive skills up until Volke, and then Volke just kicks up the notch, has got lethality, just overall amazing fodder, and Naesala also ends this off pretty well with the Neotrace skill. Moving on to the Divine Codes path with the GBA games, we start with Bridal Juno, who has got Love Bouquet Plus, Attack Speed Form, and Aerobatics. So Love Bouquet Plus is a nice supportive weapon that could be run on many blue mages who do not really have a preferred weapon, but it's really good on someone like Dancer Rhea, for example, who already has a supportive role, so she can just double down on that by running this weapon. And then you can also get Aerobatics from her. So Aerobatics is a really good slot B skill for many of the dancers, and it is still not available in the Grail pool compared to the other flyer mobility skills. So on a dancer, especially in the competitive modes, if you're trying to run Ground Order Secret Seal or trying to run Fortress Defense, for example, for avoiding isolation, then you can often not have the chance of running Aerobatic Secret Seal, so it can be really helpful to that dancer. And then we have amazing option as the second unit on this path, with Louise providing you with Attack Speed Ideal 4, Attack Speed Oath, Rally Defense Res Plus, and also Rainbow Plus. So Attack Speed Ideal 4 can be an amazing slotty skill for so many infantry units, but the thing is that getting its secondary condition can be hard at times because it does require you to be at full HP. So most of the times units who can run Windsweep like Legendary Male Byleth, or units who have got some kind of instant desperation like Jomke, for example, can use this skill extremely well. We have quite a bit of weapons that have got null follow-up built into them, so you can simply run Windsweep and have Attack Speed Ideal, giving you the maximum offensive throughput. So Louise ends up having really good value as the second unit in this path, giving you a really nice offensive skill. We have Duessel with Lull Attack Defense and Defense Res Solo 4 and Rouse Defense Res. So I would say that his main fodder is going to be Lull Attack Defense. The reason why I say that is because Defense Res Solo 4 is not the best skill to be had on a tank. You might as well run some stand skill to get the guard effect, or maybe run a unity skill to just manage the debuffs. And then Rouse Defense Res, like I said before, it's probably going to be ending up in the Grail pool, so Lull Attack Defense is pretty much going to be his main fodder, and you can use this on slow infantry units and slow cavaliers. And Duochrome is easily one of the best users of Lull Attack Defense, so you can definitely run this on a slot B. And Lull skills are really good in the game modes where visible buffs are common, like Summoner Duels, Arena, and Ether Raids Defense. So you can definitely run Lull Attack Defense on these slow units who do not really have the option of running a damage reduction skill or null follow-up. And then we've got two fort traces in this path. So Bridal Shanna can give you Swiss Sparrow 3 and Attack Defense fort trace at the same time, and this could definitely be run on many kinds of range units, especially the ones that just want to target the defense. We don't really have speed defense fort trace in this path, so this is pretty much your best option for your physical ranged unit, and this could definitely be run on a free-to-play unit like Leonie or of course Ninja Lin, the last year's A Hero Rises winner. And then we finish off the path with Attack Speed Push 4, Speed Resistance fort trace, and also amazing healer skills with Rescue Plus and Windfire Bomb Plus. So yeah, the Reinhardt build might seem a bit weird, but at the end of the day, a fort trace skill is a fort trace skill that's also debuffing the resistance of the opponent, so it could be run on one of the most popular characters in the game, but still, it's definitely at a heavy cost at the end of this Divine Codes path. But still it could be useful on your other magical range units, and you can also get Attack Speed Push 4 at the same time, which is also a really nice offensive option. And if you really like giving your healers the premium skills, then Rescue Plus can be a really amazing option. It is essentially a healing drawback, so it provides some mobility options on your healer, and then Windfire Bomb Plus is a premium special for any kind of healer. So if you're not in for the fort trace, then she can definitely provide good fodder to a healer as well. The GBA game's Divine Codes path provides you with an early Attack Speed Ideal 4, which is extremely good, and it also has two fort traces at the end of this path, so depending on if your range unit is physical or magical, you can get that fort trace skill. It is a good path for the value, especially for building up many of the ranged units. Jugdral and Heroes path starts with Sai and Lewyn providing Drifting Grace Plus, Attack Resistance Solo 3 and Infantry Flash. The latter skill is not going to be too useful, I would say, but still you can run Attack Resistance Solo on some slow mages, and Drifting Grace Plus is a really nice inertable blue tome that could be run on blue mages that are trying to stack up speed. It still faces competition from Pack Blooms Plus and Spider Plush, but if you're trying to have an offensive unit, then this does provide you with +5 attack and speed, and also heals you up for 10 HP at start of every turn. So it can help you stay healthy, but at the same time it will have anti-synergy with stuff like Desperation. Asbel as the second unit of this path provides with some insane value, as you can get Fury 4 and Null Follow Up at the same time. But I would say that if you're just trying to get Null Follow Up as the skill, then Awakening and Fate's path providing Nyx is a lot better, because Asbel also has Fury 4. So the best way of using Fury 4 nowadays is to pretty much stack it up with Fury 3 as a Sacred Seal and have a low HP unit so that you can fall into the Wings of Mercy range in Aether8's offense and basically have your Dancer and your Gale Force allies teleport. And that's the main usage of Fury 4, just stacking up the chip damage so that you can enable Wings of Mercy of your allies. If that is something you find interesting, then Asbel could be definitely really useful. But other than that, Null Follow Up is always going to be a really good skill that is going to be helpful in this metagame. We have Sai and Larcei providing amazing value with Joint Drive Attack and Frenzy as the third unit. Frenzy is already seen on Charlotte in the Awakening and Fate's path, but if you don't really want to get to Sparrow with it and you want to get Joint Drive Attack, then Sai and Larcei is going to be the better option. And I would say that Joint Drive Attack is such a universally useful skill. You could slap the skill on any kind of unit, an offensive unit, a support unit, and you'll be having a good time because it is always going to be helping you get the kills. And this is also useful in Arena for scoring. And Frenzy is a damage reduction skill which is focused in the player phase because of having Desperation 2 built into it. So you could use this with Gale Force units who already want to be at that lower HP, so they can get the damage reduction to safely get into it and still make use of the Desperation effect in the player phase. Now, I do have Shamir here as the example of Frenzy and Joint Drive Attack. So she requires a 300 SP Slotsy skill in order to get the max scoring in Arena, and I know Frenzy is not the most optimal skill here. Close Call and Spurn are usually preferred for Arena, but still it is a damage reduction skill at the end of the day. So if you're just trying to build up a score stick like Shamir, then this could definitely help you with the fodder. The fourth unit in this path is Sara, who provides really amazing value with Return Plus, Attack Speed Push 4 and Joint Drive Resistance, which you could all inherit at the same time. And you can also get Dazzling Staff, but most of the time people are going to be inheriting those 3 premium skills at the same time. And this could be really helpful if you're building up your favorite healer as a merge project, or you use a healer a lot, because Return Plus is pretty much going to be one of the best assists of any kind of healer, as it is a healing reposition, and having a positional skill on your healer can help you tremendously because it can heal up and also help you position better. And you can also inherit Attack Speed Push 4, which is a really good offensive skill for many healers. And then Joint Drive Resistance is a nice bonus. You could also just get Return Plus if you already have the other skills present on your healer. But still, there's tremendous value provided by Sara, as you can get Return Plus and also 2 other premium skills at the same time. And then this path ends off magnificently with Henreitte providing you with one of the most meta relevant skills in the entire game as of right now, and that is Far Save, and also Attack Resistance Far Save, which is really amazing. And you could also get Distant Defense 4 at the same time along with getting this Far Save skill. Ascended Idun and Brave Hector are pretty much the top Far Save armor units as of right now, as Duochrome is really common, so blue Far Save tanks are going to be doing really well. But still, there are many other armor units who can run a Far Save build, and if you do complete this path, then you can build up your own Far Save armor unit as a free-to-play player, and this will be taking you in total 6,000 divine codes, which is definitely going to be taking some months to acquire, but still it is going to be worth it having this Far Save at the end of this path. And overall, I would say that Heroes and Jugdral's path is easily one of the best ones from this batch, as it provides you with a lot of meta relevant and super useful skills that can be helpful in the current metagame, like Null Follow Up, Joint Drive Attack, which is a super universal skill, Return Plus, and also the Far Save skill at the end, which is the most important skill out of this entire path. so it does provide you with good and consistent value throughout. The final path that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Archanea and Heroes path. So we actually start this off not too strong. We just have Dancer Berkut with B Dual Infantry 3. Now this is basically HP plus 3, and B Dual Infantry 3 is not really going to be helping you much in arena scoring as of right now. But this mainly exists so that if you have a Marianne and if you want to fodder her off, then you can get the version 3 of the dual skill from Berkut and then get lull attack resistance or joint drive resistance and get the tier 4 version of the dual skill from Marianne. So if you're building up a magical blue unit, then this could definitely help you. But say if you're building up Legendary Lucina and you need to get the B Dual Infantry 4, then lull attack resistance and joint drive resistance don't really do too much for that kind of physical unit. So Dancer Berkut's value pretty much relies on the fact that if you have an extra Marianne in your barracks, otherwise this is just HP plus 5. He also has Distant Guard, which I haven't really mentioned here because it's already present in the Grail pool and also in the normal summoning pool, but I guess Distant Guard is going to be a better skill to use if you have no extra Marianne. We move on to Plagian Katarina as the second unit in this path, and she provides attack speed solo 4 and attack resistance rain. This version of rain skill is mainly going to be useful for slow mage flyers like Adrift Camilla, who recently got a weapon refine, or Brave Micaiah, who's used a lot. And attack speed solo 4 could also be inherited if you do have the prerequisite, but usually on these units it's not going to be mattering too much as they are mostly going to be slow mage flyers. In the midpoint of this path, we get insane value with Zeke providing attack defense catch 4 and lull attack defense at the same time, or you could get defense res menace along with either lull skill or the cat skill. So this kind of cat skill is really good on many of these slow cavaliers and slow flyers, and the lull skill is always going to be useful on these slow units as well, especially the cavaliers. So Lex, for example, who really fits that archetype, really appreciates the fodder. The defense resistance menace is usually going to be the best on dragons or units who have got adaptive damage because you can get the most out of this menace skill. And a bulky dragon who has got distant counter is going to be making really good use of this menace skill because you not only buff yourself up and potentially get to use Dragon Wall better, but you can also get that adaptive damage from your Dragon Breath and hit really hard with this kind of menace skill. So Zeke provides amazing value. And then we've got Summer Freyja as the second last unit in this path. So she is mainly going to be providing you with Fatal Smoke, and we see yet another attack speed solo in this Divine Code section. There's just so many of them, honestly. But yeah, Fatal Smoke is going to be the main skill, and I would say that the main usage of this skill is going to be in Aetherite's defense, where you can stop the super tanks who are going to be having the self-healing skills like Mystic Boost, for example, or healing specials from healing themselves up. And this can really chip down those tanks against your Aetherite's defense team by preventing them to heal, even from their healing tower. So it is mostly going to be used in that game mode. So if you don't really care too much about Aetherite's defense, then Fatal Smoke is not going to be making the biggest difference here. And usually you want to run Fatal Smoke on the kind of unit that can survive, because you actually need to survive to hit them with the Deep Wounds effect. So deceptively bulky units are always going to be the better option for this Fatal Smoke skill. And we end off the final path of Divine Codes 3 with none other than the mascot of Fire Emblem. So Brave Marth has got Distant Pressure, Spurn, and even Tempest. Now, fun fact, you actually cannot inherit Distant Pressure and Spurn at the same time because their prerequisite is going to be Distant Counter. So you can essentially get Distant Counter and Spurn anyways because most units are not going to be appreciating the chip damage from Distant Pressure. Brave Marth doesn't really mind because he himself has a healing weapon. But yeah, Distant Counter and Spurn is amazing combo for any kind of fast infantry unit like Ninja Shamir, for example, or just any kind of God Sword who wants to run a damage reduction skill with Distant Counter. And Distant Pressure can also be run if you already have Distant Counter present on your unit, so that skill can provide you with +5 speed in both phases. So overall, the Heroes and Archanea path starts off not too strong, but still it does have good value at midpoint with Zeke and then at the end with Brave Marth. And again, you can try to get the merges on your fan favorites like Summer Freyja and Brave Marth, for example. And this path might not be for everyone, but if you do have units who can appreciate this fodder, then it could definitely be useful. Overall, all of these paths are pretty good for providing you with good value, and it really depends on the kind of units you use and the fodder that you need. Still, I would say that the Jugdral path and the Heroes path is by far my favorite one, and I feel like that does provide you with some really high value. which is no surprise to anyone honestly, because it does have far save at the end of that path, and then we also have some other relevant skills. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to share this video with your friends, as this can definitely help many people. And if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH analysis videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes would show my videos as many times as we saw Attack Speed Solo 4 in this Divine Code section. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.